Here's what no one tells you. The belief that you need to wait until age 65 to retire could be costing you years of freedom. I've seen it firsthand, clients holding off for this milestone and they didn't even question it. But when we looked at their finances and more importantly, the life that they wanted to live, they were already in a position to retire. So today we're going to question everything that you've been told about age 65. And we're going to show you why it may no longer be the age that you should aim for. My name's Scott Sierens. I'm a certified financial planner and I've helped dozens and dozens of people rethink not just how they retire, but when they should retire. And what I've seen time and time again is that the age that they thought was right often had nothing to do with what was actually possible. So in this video, we're going to cover the outdated logic behind the age 65 retirement rule, the hidden risk of waiting when you don't have to, and then how to figure out a retirement timeline that helps give you more control and more confidence. For a lot of people, age 65 has become this default retirement goal. But have you ever stopped to ask why? Maybe it's because that's when Medicare starts. So anything earlier than age 65 just feels risky. Or because it's baked into your pension documents, your HR paperwork, and company timelines. So does that make it then the right number? Maybe it's what your friends, coworkers, or neighbors are doing. You hear that they're aiming for age 65, so it kind of feels like you should be too, even though their life and finances might be nothing like yours. Or maybe it's something more personal. Maybe you've just told yourself, I'll keep working until I feel 100% ready. And when Medicare kicks in, that will be the last piece of your 100% puzzle. But what if that 100% feeling never really comes? Or how about this one? Retiring earlier than age 65 is risky. Now, these all sound like reasonable ideas. But today, we're going to dive into where these beliefs really come from, and then what they might be quietly costing you. Let's talk about why these beliefs feel so real. The first belief, you need to wait until age 65 to retire because that's when you can start Medicare. This one comes up all the time. People think retiring before 65 is just off the table because of healthcare costs. They assume private coverage will be too expensive or hard to navigate. They think that if they have pre-existing conditions, they may not qualify for private healthcare coverage. So for the people with this belief, Medicare at 65 feels like the safe zone. And that's just so that they don't have to look at any other options. But in reality, many of those people already have enough in retirement savings to be able to bridge that gap. I've seen clients delay retiring for years, only to find out later that they could have easily covered private health insurance or the cost of COBRA with their retirement savings. That delay cost them years that they could have spent traveling, enjoying time with their family, or potentially living with less stress. And the worst part, they didn't even realize it until those years were gone. Second, 65 is the age your company or pension materials are built around. That number shows up everywhere in your HR documents, your pension options, so it starts to kind of feel like a rule. Here's the thing, companies need a standard, so they build everything around that one number. And after decades of seeing it in every document, people start to feel like 65 is the right age or the expected age to retire. But those company systems, they don't know anything about your life, your goals, your stress, your health. I've worked with people who've stayed in a draining job for 2 or 3 years extra, not because they had to, but because the paperwork made it feel like they weren't supposed to leave yet. And every extra year was costing them energy, freedom, and moments with people that they care about the most. The third belief, your friends or neighbors are all planning for 65, so you should too, right? It's easy to look around and assume if everyone else is aiming for age 65, then it must be the right move to do. You see, there's comfort in doing what everyone else is doing. It feels less risky and more normal, right? And when other people start talking about their plans, it can really start to make you question your own if they're different than the norm. But here's the reality. You don't know their full picture, how much debt they have, their savings, their retirement goals. It might be possible that you are more prepared than your coworkers, your neighbors, or your friends. Have you ever heard the phrase, comparison is the thief of joy? Well, waiting until 65 because that's what others are doing, it could be stealing years away from your retirement. Fourth, you'll just keep working until you feel 100% ready. Some people delay retirement until they feel absolutely certain. I get it. Retirement is a big decision, and no one wants to get it wrong. So they wait for that perfect moment where everything like healthcare costs feel totally locked in. But here's what I've seen working with many people just like you. That moment, it rarely comes. So they wait for this feeling that almost never shows up. And in the meantime, they spend their healthiest years at a job that they've outgrown, waiting for clarity that may never exist. There's always another what if, another number to hit, another fear in the background. And while they wait, they're spending the best years, when they have the most energy and the fewest health issues, inside a work routine that doesn't serve them anymore. I've seen clients realize this too late, and they could have left years earlier, but they didn't know how to trust the math or themselves. And fifth, retiring early is risky. People think that if they leave their job too soon, that they're putting their future at risk. We've been told for decades, work longer, save more, wait for this, wait for that. The idea of stepping away early might feel irresponsible, even if the numbers do work out. But I've seen clients with millions saved, working another 1 or 2 years, and then all it added was just another $100 or $200 per month to their retirement paychecks. That extra income wasn't going to change their lifestyle. It was just adding more money that they didn't really need. Meanwhile, the trade-off, they were giving up healthy, high-quality years that they couldn't get back. Retiring early isn't risky when you have a plan. Waiting too long because of fear, that's actually the risk that no one talks about. And here's something most people don't know. According to a CBS News report that we'll link to in the description, the median retirement age in the US is actually 62, not 65. This report found that 6 in 10 retirees left work earlier than that they had planned. And nearly 50% of those 6 people said it was due to health issues. So if you're healthy now, the question isn't just, can you retire early? The question is, should you take advantage of the fact that you still can retire early? Now, if you're ready to stop guessing and want a second set of eyes on your numbers, I invite you to watch another video we've put together. In the video, we take what we've talked about here and show you how to apply it directly to your situation. That way you can stop waiting and start planning with confidence. To do so, click the link in the description. Here's what I've seen happen time and time again. When someone finally stops building their retirement around age 65 and starts building it around their life, everything shifts. That's when they realize the issue wasn't that they weren't age 65 yet, it's that 65 was never the right measure to begin with. The real question isn't, are you 65? It's, are you actually ready? And for many people that I work with, that answer comes at an age sooner than they expected. So if 65 isn't the gold standard, well then what is? The truth is, retirement readiness has nothing to do with your age and has everything to do with your numbers, your lifestyle, and your health. When we stop looking at age 65 as the finish line and start looking at whether someone's truly prepared, now we open the door to some real options. And in my experience, most people are closer than they think. First, do a health and family check-in. When's the last time that you paused to think about your own health, physically, mentally, and emotionally? What does longevity look like in your family? Is your health starting to take a backseat to work? Is your family needing more of your time, your presence, and your energy? These questions matter more than a number on a form because even if your retirement plan might be saying wait, Your life might be telling you something entirely else. If stress is already showing up in your sleep, your energy, or your relationships, that's a sign. And every extra year you push through that might cost you more than it adds. Second, list out your retirement lifestyle needs. Now, let's get brutally honest here. Start by listing out your essential costs: housing, groceries, transportation, utilities, all of the basics. Don't list out what you think it could get to if you were to cut back. Get brutally honest with yourself here on what it actually is. This will really help you kick off retirement in the right way. Then, layer in your retirement bonus checks. These are the extras like travel, hobbies, entertainment, or gifting, the fun stuff that makes retirement worth looking forward to. You see, it helps to keep those separate. That's why I called them retirement bonus checks, because most of those extras aren't actually lifetime costs. They're front-loaded things you do when you're younger, healthier, and more mobile. Instead of guessing if you can afford to retire, now you're starting to compare two numbers: what you want and what your portfolio can produce. And for a lot of people, that's the moment that the math flips and they see that they already have more than what they actually need. Third, build your retirement paycheck. Once you understand what your lifestyle actually costs, the next step is to figure out where the money's going to come from. List your income sources: Social Security, pensions, rental income, investments. Understand what's guaranteed, what adjusts for inflation, and what needs to be withdrawn from your retirement savings. Then you'll want to map out a withdrawal strategy that helps fill the gaps in the most tax efficient way possible. Sometimes we run the numbers and we see that while waiting another year might add $100 to your paycheck, it might cost you an entire year of freedom in return. And then this is where I see that people stop asking, can you retire? And then start asking, why am I still waiting? Fourth, identify your flexibility points. One of the most underrated parts of any retirement plan is margin. Ask yourself, where could you make some adjustments if you needed to? Could you downsize or relocate in the future? Could you cut back on travel a few years? Could you maybe pick up a part-time job, work, or consult if you wanted to? Even knowing if you could downsize 10 years down the road from now if you needed to, you see, flexibility points like that can help give people the confidence to retire 2 years earlier. You see, flexibility isn't just a backup plan, it's what gives you the courage to take the first step towards retiring early. So if you've been holding out for age 65 just because that's what you thought you were supposed to do, I really hope this gave you something to think about. Retirement isn't just about reaching a certain age, it's about knowing when you are ready to retire. And when you look at your life, your goals, and your numbers, not someone else's, you might realize that you're a lot closer than you thought. If you're ready to stop guessing and want help figuring out your timeline, I'd love to help. To take the next step, click the link below to watch another video where we'll walk you through how to interpret your retirement numbers using our system. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.